It is roughly midday. That was a little loud there. It's roughly about midday. Shack would probably be too much of a grandiose term to use for what this place used to be. Hovel, maybe? Whatever it was, the only thing that remains is a chimney. Still made of brick, standing roughly about 7 to 8 feet tall. You expect it was probably larger at one point, but it seems like while it still stands, damage has been done to it. The late autumn breeze picks up through the trees. You are roughly somewhere in the middle of the Cranberry area. It's specifically known in West Virginia as one of the most remote places within the area. It takes a couple of hours to get pretty much anywhere. The closest road is the 150. That all being said, who drove out here, and what did you drive?
Did we all drive together?
Sasha probably would have driven a car that, probably a hand-me-down, that's got a little bit of rust creeping on the sides of it from, getting road salt on it. Something that, has been the family for, good number of years, and no one not rightly remembers who originally bought it, but it's always the youngest's car to get to drive.
This is roughly now the third location that has been left in a similar state. At least the third one that you guys have happened upon. These incidents have become more and more commonplace recently. Who would be the one sifting through the wreckage looking for evidence, clues, or the like?
I mean, I reckon a lot of us would be, but I know I would.
Why don't you give me those that are searching through the wreckage, giving me intelligence plus investigation. Those of you not, what are you doing at this time?
I'll keep lookout.
Give me perception.
I think I'll also keep lookout. Robert will, I mean.
Right. So, both Edward and Robert, we start with you. As you keep a lookout, the isolation of this place is somewhat eerie. You know that despite some people deciding to live out here, you're about as far from civilization as you could ever hope to be. There is one thing that you note, and it's the lack of animals. You would expect, at least birds chirping or something in this remote reaches, as it were. There's just nothing. Not even a single bird chirps in the sky. The only thing causing any rustling of leaves is the wind.
Is this a foresty area?
Yes, it is heavily, heavily forested.
Boy, I ain't never heard any forest as quiet as this. It'd make me nervous.
Does it feel an eerie sense of quiet, or just am I getting any sensation that something is maybe causing it, or is it just a quiet part of the forest?
You were part of the group that was digging things up in the wreckage, were you not?
I am.
Okay.
Yes.
It's hard for you to tell because your mind is elsewhere as you, Frederick, and Sasha sift through the remains of what was this hovel.
Makes sense.
With your rolls, Frederick, you got nothing. What you're able to tell is this place was definitely torn down, violently so. But not by an explosion, and not by any tool that you've ever seen. So you can't identify hammer marks, you can't identify any chars, any residues, nothing like that. Bishop, with 2 successes, you're able to find 3 dog bowls. And in each of them is what looks like a charred bit of squirrel's tail. It looks chopped up into small bits. You can distinguish, like, charred fur. It's not uncommon for those out here to, eat squirrel and the like, especially being as far away as they are, I cannot speak today. Hunting for survival. There we go. I'll just phrase it like that. And Sasha, you're able to come across what looks to be a hatchet in one of what you would think was the bedroom, because you notice a lot of torn up linens and the like. However, this hatchet the haft has been shredded in multiple places, and even the head of the axe almost seems like it's been gnawed on. There's very distinct markings on it.
I'm gonna pick up the hatchet and kind of hold it out to the others searching the ruins with me. This cabin being torn down made me think it was personal. Because, a lot of things are personal. But this just looks feral. How can something cause this kind of destruction?
So, unless we find a convenient trail or tracks or something, as far as we can tell, something knocked down the building. He's got some dog bowls over there. Previous owner could have had dogs. Not unheard of. Nothing unusual about that. Not on axe. Could have been the dogs, could have been wildlife that came through afterwards. We're missing conclusive evidence of anything here. But I found nothing but a broken house, so...
Are we able to discount the fact that this could be natural, like a storm or something, or it was very old and collapsed? Are we able to just basically discount those possibilities that this is an old hovel that maybe just fell apart on its own?
Well, looking at the wood, it doesn't seem rotted or anything like that. And this fall has been unseasonably calm, actually. There haven't been any major storms or anything like that. And chalking it up to something natural is pushing the bounds of coincidence a little too far, because this is not the first report of this type of thing that has reached the cell's ears.
Okay.
This...
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, this is roughly about the third one in the month. And it's always very similar. The area is completely destroyed, save for maybe some of the stronger bits of the house. Bodies are scarce, or if there is a body, it is completely mutilated to the point where the corpse is unrecognizable. Always remote. And the lack of game animals, and when you find these places, you would expect freezers full of food. Or, at least stuff stocked up to a certain extent. That is always missing as well. There seem to be no food stores that you would expect to find.
The food is missing or burned down? Somebody destroys it or somebody steals it? What do we know so far?
Not burned, just doesn't seem to exist.
Is there by chance a basement or something like that? Something below the ground, a cellar that could have been just had rubble piled on top of it?
Why don't you give me athletics plus stamina as you begin to actually maneuver like heavier pieces of rubble to see if there's any sort of access to that. Some of the larger pieces give you a little bit of trouble.
Is it possible for us to help him?
Help her? Yeah.
I mean,
Help her, yeah.
yeah, I got one success.
Yeah. Some of the larger pieces are, troublesome, but you're able to shift them around. There doesn't seem to be any cellars or trapdoors or anything like that. However, as you clear some of the rubble away from the floor, you notice long gouges in the floor. Very indicative of a large... Well, this is where it gets confusing. You would expect something of that size to be a large dog, but the claw marks seem more sharper than what a dog's claws are. And the way they disappear, it seems retractable.
She's gonna step back at that and she's gonna shake her head. Can I be the first one to say it? Can I say werewolf?
Okay, so without Bishop is going to say, it does look like I'm not aware of any natural animal that can have that kind of claws, but why on the floor? It just, we lifted, the claw marks are on the floor. Was it where those people were and they got attacked? Why would whatever it is claw the floor? That's what I'm trying to... What was the motivation behind it is what I'm trying to figure out.
I mean, we can assume perhaps it's an animal. Animals claw on things, That's just...
This is not a natural animal. I mean, we can say that with some... I can't say for 100%, but...
An unnatural animal can still be an animal, instinct-wise. This could just... Maybe we're dealing with a... a big... big bobcat here that decided to scratch its claws on the floor after it knocked the place down. I don't know.
Does it look like that? Like a random, or am I seeing a motive behind it? Like blood over there, it attacked somebody and missed and clawed the floor? Or was it attacking the floor?
The amount of dried blood all over the place... It's hard to say. The particular marks where Sasha found them may or may not have been accidental. It's very hard to tell. Edward.
Do we...
Oh,
sorry. I was just going to say, is there, like, a body here at all, or is it just dried blood?
It's dried blood. If you want to roll...
I don't know, I'm just looking for a body, I don't know, bone, bits of clothing.
I'm joining with that, yeah.
Intelligence plus medicine. In the meantime, Robert and Edward, as you're continuing to look out.
Robert, or I would like to search the surrounding area for like tracks and whatnot, scuffles, if there's tracks leading in, tracks leading out.
Go ahead, give me... Actually, I think this one would be with survival here.
Ooh, with survival. I have a specialty in hunting for survival. Would that apply?
Yes.
Sweet. One success.
While he does that. Oh.
It
Does that
was?
sound anything?
Yes.
With one success on that, as you look about, you don't see traditional tracks. You notice marks on the trees, broken branches here and there, as if a large animal of some sort was leaping between them, between tree to tree. You can see where the claws hook into the tree. You can see where the bark gets shaved off as it leaps to another tree. And sometimes it's not always branches that you see that it would be landing on. Sometimes it's just clinging to the side of the tree. Because you can count each claw mark and be like, okay, this thing seems to have roughly about 4 digits on each of its legs. There's exactly 8 and 8.
So, point that out to Edward. Hey Eddie, check this out. I don't think this thing ever really touched the ground. It's just been jumping tree to tree. I never seen anything like it. Look, see, it's got claws there, claws there. That's 4 limbs over there, and then 4 limbs over there.
So what you're telling me is we got ourselves a feral monkey.
Like a spiral monkey with big claws.
It's better than a werewolf.
Is it?
You know anything?
You know anything that fits that description?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
You know anything?
You know anything that fits that description?
Still getting doubled.
What is up with my sound?
Uh,
What's going on?
I think the sound is coming from the. Yeah.
Somebody, I think it might be
It's
somebody.
somebody.
It's coming out of Crüjen.
It's picking up
Let's
another
pick up
mic.
another mic, yeah.
It's picking up another mic. Yeah.
Am I not muted? There we go.
Let's see. Try now.
Mic test.
Okay.
No, I'm still getting
Mic
doubled.
test. Mic test.
I end up muting everybody on the other platform, Pooter.
It doesn't even sound doubled to me. It's just like really quiet and low quality. Like I can hear him trying to say words, but I have no idea what they are.
It's, I can,
It's. I can.
it's still looping. It's still,
No, it's still looping. It's still looping.
it's Crüjen.
It's Crüjen.
I'm hearing Crüjen. There's a bit of quality there. Yeah, definitely.
yeah, it Live's voice is coming through your mic, Crüjen.
Okay. I can mute myself. Just assume, because it's coming through the Discord app, right?
His is coming through Video Ninja.
Yeah, because
Okay.
Live
But
runs
then
his
it's
audio
looping
through
on
Video
your Discord.
Ninja. Yeah. All right. Try again, Live.
That's good.
Test. Mic test.
There we go.
Now, what were you saying?
Okay. You know anything that fits the bill on one of these kind of things? Anything in your my big book of monsters or something like that?
You got one, Dan?
Every time we come out here and see something like this, I always think I should. But whatever it is, I don't like it.
Nah, if it's the thing that shredded that there house, then yeah, I don't want to be anywhere in front of it. That's for sure.
Now, for those of you that rolled intelligence plus medicine, I see 0 successes. However, that being stated, you're not able to get much information. While the blood is dried, the blood doesn't appear to be old. Unfortunately, everybody here has had some experience with people bleeding, the way blood behaves to an extent. While the blood is dry, it's not days old. As I was saying, it's roughly about midday. Rough estimate, it happened sometime last night. Can't put a closer time frame on it, but it's still new blood, so to speak. This happened last night.
Are there drag marks that we are seeing? If the body is not there and it happened yesterday, does it look like they're being dragged or they being carried out? I mean, one thing is, if they're not here, how did they leave the premises? On their own, they got dragged or carried out? I can think of 3 ways this could go.
Going off of what... actually, let me further expound upon what Robert saw. The claw marks, the way they hook and curve, Robert, you'd be able to tell they were moving away from this area.
That was my next question when it was coming back to me.
Which obviously somewhat answers Bishop's question there.
Okay. We don't have enough information to conclude what we are facing. Is there any details from the other cases that we can corroborate here? Is it the same, the people were missing? Is it the same MO we are looking at? The house were destroyed and the bodies were missing, or bodies were present in those cases, the others?
Most of the time, bodies missing. Other time, there was one other occasion where the body was found mutilated, torn to shreds. As for same MO, more or less. Very isolated locations. Very little... very little food. It seems whatever this creature is, either these are all quote-unquote victims of happenstance, which is rough, or there's some MO that is shared between all of these that is not evident from an aftermath situation.
Are there any links between the victims that we know of?
Nope. All other than being virtual recluses.
Geographically the same area, or?
Yes.
Okay. So at least that's one area. Like how far in between these places, you would say 5 kilometers?
The Cranberry Wilderness, the specific location is roughly 47,815 acres. So it's a very large location. All very remote, however.
It's in one area these 3 places got attacked, so we are talking about this several mile area that this is occurring around.
Several 100-mile area.
Several 100-mile area. Yeah, I'm not doing the math correctly. Several 100-mile area. You're right. Yeah. Okay. Is there any electronic device or anything of the sort that could have recorded something like this? I'm asking everybody. Like phone, cell phone, or like something may have recorded something, a picture taken.
Well, see, in my experience, people that tend to live out here don't tend to enjoy them electronic devices so much. That's why they live out here. To get away from all that, live off the grid.
Fair. But does anybody have like a camera?
You think he might have like some trail cams set up around?
Yeah.
That he might. That'd be the one thing they would go for.
Maybe.
Or like home security type of setup or something, you know, for wild animals.
Now, home security's probably a shotgun buried in the rubble back there. It ain't a camera.
Took the words right out my mouth.
He was paying for home security. He should get a refund.
True. I meant homemade home security. Yes. So yeah, if it gone off,
Yeah,
there's
your
any
insurance
evidence
companies
of
don't
blood.
tend to cover you.
Right. So I'm thinking we either keep digging through the rubble here and hoping we find some magic clue. We start combing the woods hoping we find some clue. Or I wait for the next poor guy to get mauled in his cabin.
Is it like
We've got a
happening
way out
every
of
day?
here. At least the way to think where.
No, it is not happening every day.
Question. How did we hear about this attack? Because this guy's pretty off the grid, like...
People tend to have families, even out in these parts.
I guess, yeah.
They know they have family living out here. They haven't seen them around for a while. People start to talk. And that is kind of how news travels, especially in these cases.
Are the cops or are the cops involved with it at all? Or are we the first on the scene? Like, what do we see?
People die out here all the time, usually animals. And after looking at the evidence, you could see how most non-informed agencies would probably just chalk this up, animal attack, open, shut, done, get this paperwork off my desk. There's not gun marks or anything like that that would suggest human involvement, so they're not super interested in pursuing.
Do we find something like a beat-up truck or anything like that? Like, I know this guy was a recluse, but he surely had to come into town occasionally for something. As you said, this is a pretty obscure location.
You would find it's not a truck, it's a 1970s station wagon, honestly, wood paneling and all. It's parked roughly about 15-20 yards from the house in a place where you can see that there aren't a lot of trails out here, but this place at least seems to, maybe by his own doing, he's cleared it out for the car to be able to make the long journey to the 150s, to join the 150 out here.
And the car's in... The car hasn't been molested by whatever this creature was, right?
Nope, it is... I don't want to say perfect condition. It's a 1970.
An old beater, but it works.
It's a station wagon. It works. It doesn't seem to be overtly damaged outside of your general wear and tear. Bumper isn't necessarily in the best of shape. Bit of rusted, dents, but...
It doesn't look attacked.
Yes.
Robert's gonna approach the rest of the group. Well, wherever this thing is, I don't think it's here no more. I saw some tracks over in that there tree going that way, so it probably left not soon after it did its thing here.
Slow it down, see what it calls home, I guess.
I mean, if y'all want to stay and dig up a little more, that's fine. But I would like to follow it at least a bit of a ways and see which way it's headed.
Sure. Go for a trek through the woods.
So, Robert's kind of trekking off at this point, I would assume.
Yeah.
I feel like this is an opportune time.
Yeah.
What weaponry has been brought in this case?
For everyone or just Robert?
Everybody.
Okay, well, we'll start with Robert because that's, where we left. Right now, he's got a boot knife, Colt 1911, and an Ithaca Model 37 shotgun, which is what he's holding right now, shotgun. He's also wearing a flak jacket just in case. Because when you go out hunting, you never know. He doesn't wear that like around in town every day. This is just a special occasion,
So yeah, I'm gonna have the typical hunter's Bowie knife and deer hunting rifle, bolt action, scopes type thing.
Sasha's got her truncheon that she's just kind of resting on her shoulders.
Frederick, I mean, he's not much with a gun. I mean, he carries a knife for utility, but he ain't much with a knife either. So he's got a knife with him, but it ain't what he's using to fight if he has to.
Bishop has a 9mm, a small Glock, and he's wearing basically the little bit of clothing. I called it reinforced clothing, but maybe that may not even be the case. He's basically a 9mm Glock he has.
So, give me, if you guys want to continue to track this thing, somebody give me a survival plus wits here. I don't need everybody to do it, just...
I'll assist.
Okay.
I'll assist.
Okay, well,
Let's see what if anyone.
it's basically the same rules before with survival, specialty, and hunting, right?
Yep.
With a plus two
Plus 2.
teamwork, I guess. Anyone else helping track? Want to help track?
I don't have survival.
No.
I would drag you down.
Y'all city folk never been out in the woods in your life.
Pretty old shot. With survival for
Yes.
teamwork? Okay.
Tell me, Padre, what do you think your diocese would say if they saw you out here now?
I wasn't expecting this, no.
So that's plus 3 then.
3. Okay. Ooh, 3 successes.
More time I'm spending time with you guys. It feels like this is God's backyard, so I should get to know this place. Yes.
This ain't God's backyard, this is Satan's toilet.
Well, Robbie,
Yes.
you do eventually find it very difficult to keep following. However, there is one thing of high note. The trail seems to get muddied, as it looks like it landed on this tree, and then something happened. You can't tell, other than there's multiple claw marks, like it was spooked, something spooked it, something hit it. Can't tell. You can just tell that this tree is somewhat ripped to shreds. And then at the base of this tree is roughly an 8-foot long vine, you would say, if vines had fur.
Well, obviously it stopped here. Where it went from here, I don't know. But that thing there, and he points his gun at the vine on the floor. I ain't never seen nothing like that.
Does it look like something that is, as part of the supernatural creatures that Bishop may have heard about?
I mean, it's got fur.
Yeah. But that doesn't narrow too much in the sense, like almost like you were saying monkey type, just jumping from point to point. It has fur, it has large claws. But I think we need a few more facts to narrow down what it is. That's what Bishop is thinking.
What about? Can I do a check for local legends? Just kind of knowledge.
Something like this type of attack happened in the past. Is that what you're thinking?
It's more like a folklore type.
Yeah.
Folklore, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys do happen to have a favorite tactic called monster lore.
Isn't that the contacts one? You can make a call. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, why not? Let's do that. Sure. I came with the primary guy. That's the intelligence plus occult. I believe that's the first guy that needs to roll. I am pretty high on that.
You roll. That's the person that risks willpower and rolls after the secondary actors.
Oh, is that the case? Okay, so
Yeah.
then it builds the. Okay.
So all the secondary actors make rolls. All of their successes add to your rolls.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that. Yeah. I have the eyes on that. That's
So
basically what we're doing now. Yeah. I guess.
Intelligence.
So, for those of you that are joining in this tactic as secondary actors, you have presence or manipulation plus socialize, which is calling in favors or consulting experts. Up to 3 people can do that. Resolve plus academics or investigation or computer, tracking down rare resources. 1 person has to do that. Up to 3 can do it. And then strength or presence
So
plus
what was that
intimidation.
one?
That is resolve plus academics or investigation.
I can do that one. That's
And then
I can do
strength or presence plus intimidation or streetwise, which is interrogation. Not a lot of that makes... Interrogation probably doesn't make a lot of sense here. Calling in favors makes sense. Doing some research on the equipment that you guys have brought makes sense. So I would say those first 2 are going to be your best bets, unless you guys have somebody pinned up in your trunk that you can interrogate.
Not yet.
No, I can make some calls. I got manipulation, socialize. That could work for me.
Frederick?
And since we have status in the compact, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just calling people I know here.
Oh, nice. Resolve academics. is through.
1 success for calling in a local feller might know what's around here.
So
Bad
that's
reception.
I got satellite phone.
So that is a total of 7 extra dice that you get for
Yes.
this.
Wow. All right. So
6,
intelligence
isn't it?
6 or 7?
Oh,
Plus
7.
Yeah.
3 plus 1 plus 3. 7.
Sorry, I
guess,
can't-
Right?
I-
No?
Yeah, it's plus 7.
Yeah,
Plus 7.
I just can't.
All right. I'm adding the 7 as a modifier. Intelligence occult. I get 9 again because one of my just again, it's one of my asset skills, occult. Do I get a 9 again? Because of professional training?
Yes.
Okay. Just to make
Nice.
sure. Alright, let's try. 4
Isn't it so-
successes.
You need so many dots.
Say
Just
what?
with asset skills, do you need so many dots?
Yeah, you need,
With that,
I want to say 3 to get 9 again?
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, I don't have that many. All right.
I end up getting 4 dots. 4 gives you 1 more skill also. So
No,
I get-
it's 2 to get 9 again, sorry.
Yeah, you don't even
cool.
have
Okay,
asset
okay,
skills
okay.
at 1 dot, technically.
You do.
No, you
Yeah.
don't. Well,
I mean-
I guess you can pick them, but they don't do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
They're just there. So yeah,
I did the roll. It's 4 successes.
Yes, and let me just confirm here. Extended, total successes required equals twice the monster's potency.
Also, it's extended. Okay, this was the first one only.
You don't, but see, the thing is it is extended. However, the goal is double the monster's potency. The monster's potency is 2. So, 1 roll
Yeah.
actually required it. So,
Nice.
everything gets covered in about an hour after calling in favors. Local legends out here. Speak of a certain creature that has a very keen obsession. It is obsessed with its own tail. This tail is known to be exceedingly long, and it becomes highly violent when anything were to happen to its tail. And Bishop, you would specifically note that parts of this tail seem to have, towards the end, or what you would assume would be the end, because it does have a bit of a taper to it, have been removed. And you're able to... At least the things in those dog bowls look like they could be parts of it.
If this is the... What do we conclude from this? Somebody... Like, what does the evidence tell us so far?
Well, it says to me, this thing lost its tail, flies into a blind rage. Fortunately, Uncle Joe down the hill, he becomes an unfortunate victim of it.
So somehow somebody got a piece of the tail and they ate. Do you think that same thing happened with 3 different people? I mean, it's almost like a difficult set of circumstances.
I'm just thinking they were just in... No, I'm just thinking that they was in the way. This thing loses its tail. Evidence A, down. Okay, it's going to kick the tail. Everyone else, well, they were just unfortunate. They just happened to be a victim of rare mist of this thing.
Wrong place, wrong time. Something triggered.
Exactly.
Others got in the way.
That's
type
just me.
Of situation.
It's just what I think, though.
So then, I've been tracking this thing from the house to here, and only now we find its tail has been blown off or something. How? And where is the rest of it?
Yeah.
Comes back to the thing that it lost.
Do we know that there is that going on? Yeah, that could be very helpful, by the way. If that we know, that'll come back to its tail. That
We just found bait.
Found bait, exactly.
We found bait, exactly.
So, if he keeps coming back here, there should be a bunch of trails leading from, like, we should look around and there should be like half a dozen more trails of it going out to kill people, right? From here, like...
Frederick, are you thinking this is where it lives? Is this tree where it lives? I mean, why this tail is here? Is it like its nest is up there or something? Is that what we're thinking?
Well, this tree's like destroyed, right?
I don't think.
Like,
it's shredded, like someone's been climbing on it a lot, I suppose, or...
Yeah. Why this one in particular, right?
Lives here, I guess. Do we see anything up the tree?
It is.
Like,
it's not.
Yeah.
Anything out of the ordinary? If not, I'm gonna take a peek. I want to go up the tree.
Just in case, I'm checking the surroundings and Glock is in hand.
Yeah, does this look like a nest? Are there like any other bones or what's its...
Alright, so since people are doing a couple of different things, if Frederick's climbing the tree, give me dexterity plus athletics. If Robert is continuing to do his animal tracking, that would be... You already know the roll. I've asked it like 3 times. Bishop, give me perception, since you're keeping a lookout, as it were. Edward?
Yeah.
Sasha?
I want to... yeah, Eddie's going to, through the scope, is going to look at a slightly longer range just for any kind of unnatural movement in the trees and the undergrowth, any kind of where the plants are maybe moving where they shouldn't be, just any signs that something's around.
I don't think I'm taking direct action at this point. More just standing back and letting everyone kind of run around a bit. She's unsure of what's going on.
What do you want me
Please
to roll?
ignore my roll. I rolled it with 9 again, which was a mistake. 0 successes, actually. That was a mistake. The one with 3 successes.
You would have 1 success because you need to have 1 9 at least.
True. I mean, if we're gonna go with that, yeah, 1 success. Sorry about that. Actually.
It happens. It happens
No,
a
don't
lot.
worry. What do you want me to roll? What should I roll?
Yours would also technically be perception, but you're doing it at a longer range, but you're using the scope of your rifle to negate that range, so I can still answer differently for you, so go ahead and give me perception.
1.
Alright, so, starting up at the top. Frederick. As you climb up the tree, nothing of any sort of size would be able to live up here. Birds could live up here, but the branches are fairly thin. They barely support your weight, and the ones that you have to make a couple of very quick maneuvers because a few of them give way underneath you. Robert, you don't find what you would expect from a lair or anything like that. There's not numerous tracks. It seems like whatever happened at this tree was incidental. It just happened, wrong place, wrong time. Something happened. This tree was a little worse for wear about it. And it moved on. Bishop, all's quiet. Again, a little eerily so. Edward, further off in the distance, outside of trees, because you are in a heavily wooded area, you do note one specific thing. You do notice that there is another tree further up that seems to have claw marks on it. You can see it through your scope in the distance. These
I was
are
very aware that we might.
These are much less haphazard and less like the ones Robert's pointed out as you've went among the trees. These are down the length of the tree.
So very aware that we are now in this thing's territory. Tap Robert. Hold up the rifle so you can see the scope through the scope.
Yeah, see, that looks more like it's been going up and down.
I think we might.
Could you repeat that? You got real quiet there.
Oh, sorry. It was intentional. I reckon we might be in his backyard right now. Just go quiet.
Yeah, he probably just stopped here for something and then something spooked it. I reckon that's where he spends a lot of his time over there. Does the tail look like it was like a clean cut, ripped off, blown off?
It looks like it's been definitely cut in 2 locations, one on either end. The one on the larger end, where you would assume it would connect to the body because of the size, that looks a little bit more ragged. Maybe having to do... Give me intelligence plus weaponry, actually.
Ooh.
I feel like this is probably something you would need a little bit of a...
Yes, unfortunately I don't have weaponry. I got firearms. But we'll give this a shot. Oh, look at that, one success.
Respect.
Definitely looks like a larger weapon of some sort, heavy. Woodsman axe, something of that sort. While the other end seems to be a much finer blade. Knife, kitchen knife. Instead of some basically, the thicker end, something meant for chopping. The smaller end, something meant for slicing.
Okay.
Does it look like the claw marks are of the same type? Not that, I don't know. I'm voicing that out. Does it look like two of these things got into it in this tree, or something went after this? If it fell down the tree, it looks like something happened up there. Looking at Frederick having difficulty going up, that doesn't look like a person would go with something after this. I mean, that just doesn't seem likely to me. I'm trying to figure out what happened in this. Is it like two of these things got into it, or something else went after this? We may be dealing with two different supernaturals here.
My theory is some feller found this here tail swinging from the tree, not knowing what the rest of it was attached to, and took a swing with it with an axe. And then when the rest of it went its way, he thought, well, I got me some meat. Went his way. And then the rest of this thing came back. He didn't like that so much, so probably tracked him back to his place, and that's where we just was. That's a guess. But that's my running theory.
Somebody found it and chopped it up and took it as meat, and okay, that's... But how did it fell in the first place? Because it looks like this thing is obsessed with its... like, it wouldn't fall off, would it? The local legend was telling us this thing is obsessed with it. How did it fall off in the first place is what I'm trying to get.
I assume whatever feller found it chopped it off.
I think Bishop's more inquiring why is it just laying on the ground right now.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Instead of dragging back the whole thing, I don't know.
Yeah, right in the bottom of the tree. It does look like something happened there, but I'm unable to piece together the scenario here. It just looks odd.
All right, how about this?
Also not the first guy, not the first time a shack's been leveled. And if we want to assume this is the same thing attacking it, somebody unrelated probably found it, cut some pieces off, and sold some meat to every guy in the hills here or something. That just, I'm not. It just seems off.
Here's a crazy theory that I'm thinking. I don't know the survival, but it feels like somebody's hunting these things and leaving the pieces to cause this chaos almost to me. I mean, if somebody's gonna take it, why would they leave these parts there? And I mean, why would it attack three different places? It just... I'm not seeing the connection. How did this tail ended up in this guy's house?
You know what I think? I think we can speculate later as much as we like. Right now, we're in this thing's backyard. We're basically pissing in it. I think we asked questions.
I like the way that you're thinking. Dead tell no tales, usually. But yes, in our group, we could find ways to make even the dead talk. So, if you guys are certain we are on the right track, I think less thinking, more action time. I second that.
Over here, something up there.
So, I have One question before everybody begins to move off. Is the tail staying there, or is it being moved?
Very loaded question.
It is.
Yeah.
There's no way for me to say that it's not a
Potentially
loaded
bait.
question.
It's potentially bait. Potentially bait, but then again, it's also potentially a.
That's
So hear me out. We take the tail. It comes back to the
There's a
tail.
target.
We just put it in a shack. I don't know. You got any explosives? It comes into the shack to get its tail back. We blow it up. Problem solved.
I
No
kind
explosion,
of
but I bet
think
that-
yes.
But I bet that car has got a 14.
That thing didn't try to get into the car. It destroyed the wood shed, but that
Alright.
car's metal and glass. Put it in there.
Well, I'm thinking good old-fashioned rag, flaming rag in the fuel tank. We got ourselves a homemade.
I mean,
Okay, well, presumably this tail ain't going anywhere. Because if it wanted to move its tail, it could have done so already. It came back here.
true.
I say we just leave it for now. We come back whenever we want to trap it. There's no point in getting jumped on our search, you know?
So you figure we get eyes on it first, and then we decide from there.
You have just finished listening to this week's episode of Hunter the Vigil, Critical Measures, part of the Domain Gaming's Contagion Anthology, written and told by Wyverian. A special thanks to you, the listener, and if you wish to continue supporting us, subscribe, like, and share. As always, comments are welcomed. Until the next chapter, don't stop asking yourself, why must those who hunt monsters hunt themselves?